If you are in job search mode, you may be thinking about getting back on LinkedIn. But if you rarely log in over there, you may not have noticed that there are some changes that have happened that will greatly impact your ability to be found. What happened is that old keyword stuffing hack that you may have heard of is not really as relevant anymore. What they want is for you to have a 360-degree picture of who you are and what you do. If you don't set up your profile to do that, there is a good chance that you will not be found. Hi, I'm Shelley Piedmont, a former recruiter turned career coach, and I want you to be successful on LinkedIn. So in this video, you're going to learn 5 ways to dress your profile and how you show up on LinkedIn so that you can be found. You know, a lot of recruiters do what is called quiet hiring. So they're going on LinkedIn to find people who actually are going to match the needs of the open roles that they have. You want to show up in those searches. It's not just about having the expertise. It's about having the visibility. And I'm going to show you how you can do that on LinkedIn. First, we need to talk about what exactly changed over on LinkedIn in 2025. So you used to be able to just put in keywords like project manager or software as a service and know that if it found the keyword, then if someone's searching for that, then you would show up in the search. That has changed with their change in algorithm in 2025. Now they use semantic alignment, and really what that means is think of it as a very observant executive assistant. It's looking at everything you do on LinkedIn. So your profile, your comments, your posts. And what it's trying to do is understand who you are, what you do, and who you serve. So those signals are what it is using to decide if you show up in searches, specifically recruiter searches, but any search. So what you want to do is make sure that what you're doing in all the aspects of LinkedIn is giving a story around all those things: who you are, what you do, who you serve. So just as the news feed is trying to give you posts of people that it thinks that you want to know about because that would be of interest to you. Same idea is happening with you and all the signals you are giving out. It wants to be able to know that you are consistent and that you are providing information about yourself, what you do, to the audience that you are trying to serve. That's a key difference that you need to be aware of. So the 3 things that you really need to focus in on are first your headline and your about section. Are they clear about who you serve, who you help? The second is going to be your comments. Are they helpful? Do they show your expertise in what you do and how you serve others? And then the third thing it's going to look at is your engagement. Who are you engaging with? Are you engaging with people in your industry, your profession, on topics that are important for who you serve? That is why now, commenting on viral posts, that's not really particularly helpful for you. In fact, what it does is it confuses the algorithm of who you serve and what you do. So keep in the confines of, what you know, who you help, and set up your profile so that it's very clear what that story is. And you will find that LinkedIn can work very well for your job search. If you like this content, I always appreciate that like and subscribe to my channel. It really helps. And if you want videos on specific topics, go ahead and put those in the comments. I'm happy to give you the support you need for your job search. So let's first talk about your headline. In the past, many people just had a keyword stuffed headline. They would have something like project manager and then MBA and then maybe like ex-Apple. And they hoped the keywords would do the heavy lifting. But that is not the case. The algorithm really wants you to explain who you are, what you do, and the business value that you bring. So I'm going to go over some formulas that you might use and examples of how this would work for you. So let's first take a look at the formulas. So a formula you could use is your target job title, what you want to do, some key skills relevant to that title, and a specific result that you give to your employers. So we're going to give an example that actually uses those elements. So for the title, we're going to have Director of Operations Urgent Care. For key skills, we're going to have Patient Throughput and Wait Time Mitigation Specialist. We're going to have Multi-Site Healthcare Leadership. And then the specific result, optimize clinical workflows to increase patient volume 22% and boost NPS scores. Now, that's not the only formula that you could use for your headline. So there are some others, and you can pick and choose what feels right for you. Here's the next one that I can suggest. This is the I help, and then you're going to put the target company type that you're looking for, achieve, then the result, and then through your expertise. So here's an example of how you could use that format for your headline. I help multi-site urgent care practices achieve 20% plus increase in patient volume through optimized clinical workflows and wait time mitigation strategies. I have a third template that you could use if this works best for your situation. That's going to be target role, specialized in whatever your transferable skill to drive outcome. And that could be something like this. Director of Operations, specialized in process engineering to drive patient throughput and bottom line performance. Try one of these and see if that doesn't help you get noticed. The second area of your profile that we're going to talk about is your about section. I have to say, most about sections that I read are pretty horrible. I'll be quite honest. Something like I'm highly motivated and with 25 years of experience and blah, blah, blah. That's not helping you. First of all, it's boring. And second of all, it really doesn't tell the algorithm what your value is. And that's really important. Now, the first few sentences of your about section, those are really key. Just like the first few sentences of a book, if it's boring, people are going to put it down, okay? So you want to make those first sentences interesting. Now, one of the things that's really important in the about section, because the algorithm is looking for your value, is that you need to talk about that value. And that value should be around 5 things, okay? One is the context of where you work, what you do, the industries you serve. You want to have that. You want to have the scope of your job, okay? How many people you supervise, or what is the budgets, those sorts of things. You want to have the methods that you use to make sure that you get the results, how you're doing that. And then you want to make sure that you actually give the results in that about section, okay? You need to do that, and you should put, if at all possible, a metric around that result so the reader, the algorithm, can understand the magnitude of that. If you can do those 5 things in your about section, that tells the algorithm who you are, what you do, and your value. And it's going to try to match you up with the people that are looking for that. The third thing we're going to talk about is documentation. Now, you do not need to be a LinkedIn influencer. What you need to do is, especially if you haven't been on LinkedIn for a long time, is you need to warm up that algorithm. One of the things that you can do is start commenting. Now, I don't want you to spend hours a day commenting. I don't think that's the best use of your time. You're busy. But I would suggest you use the 10-5-10 rule. What does that mean? That is 10 minutes a day, 5 comments you write, and those 5 comments are at least 10 words long. That way, you warm up that algorithm. It knows that you have expertise in this area, and that it's going to then know to push your information to people that are interested in that topic. So now let's go and talk about what a good comment looks like. Here is a post that is about OSHA and HIPAA compliance rules, something that would be important in the healthcare space in the US. And here would be a thoughtful comment to a post about that topic. In the urgent care space, trust is our most valuable commodity. Treating HIPAA as a foundational element of the patient experience and not a regulatory checkbox exercise separates the good and profitable practices from the average and poor ones. In that comment, you have an opinion, but you also showcase your expertise in the area. That is powerful, and that will help get you noticed. If you haven't been on LinkedIn for a while, then you really need to warm up that algorithm. And I suggest you do what's called a 90-day topic streak. What does that mean? That means that for the jobs that you want and what is important in those jobs, you pick 2 topic areas and you're going to concentrate on those topic areas in any comments that you do, or even posts if you decide to do that. You want to warm up the algorithm so that when it thinks of anything in that topic area, then it thinks of you. So as an example for our healthcare person, maybe we have operational efficiency and financial management as topic areas that they are going to concentrate on. Or they may choose AI in healthcare and the patient journey. Whatever is relevant to the jobs you want, stick to those 2 topic areas and comment on those, post on those. Do that for 90 days. That will help that algorithm discover you and bring you to the attention of people who are interested in those topics. And number 5 is the open to work area. Now, I'm not suggesting that you have to turn that on and make that public. That's going to be a decision that is going to depend on your particular situation. But I think everyone in a job search should turn it on, at least for recruiters only. And why is that? Because it is a signal for the algorithm that you are ready, willing, able to find another job. And so for recruiters, that's very important. And when they're doing the recruiter searches in their software, then they can actually find people who are open to work, but also the algorithm can help them discover people that would be easier to get them to be interested in a role. So I would definitely turn that on. But one thing to remember is you want it always to be fresh. You want that algorithm to actually know that you are actively looking now. This is why I suggest, every week or so, you go back into your profile, you go to that setting, you turn it off, and then you turn it on. That lets the algorithm know it's a signal that you are refreshing and therefore the current information is accurate. That can help you be put at the top of a search. The good thing is that for professionals who are experienced and have a good story to tell about what they do and who they do it for and the results they get, this is great. You can tell that story, your headline, your about section, your comments, and the algorithm is going to push you towards people who are looking for just that. You don't have to do hacks. You don't have to be dancing in a video. All you have to do is show what you do. That should be a relief for you as a professional and make you feel more comfortable using LinkedIn. So this week, why don't you get started with updating your headline and starting to comment? If you do that, I think you will find LinkedIn will be a great benefit for your job search. If you need help with your LinkedIn profile, I offer that service. You can go check the description box of how to find me, and we can talk about how I can help you.